This is back from April 10th of this year. This is by Rebecca Cohen from US News. Idaho woman, 85, 85. By the way, don't get confused. That's also Adam Schiff's IQ, but this is this woman's age, 85, fatally shot home intruder in heroic act of self defense. An 85-year-old Idaho woman shot and killed an intruder in her home in what a county prosecutor called, quote, one of the most heroic acts of self preservation I have ever heard of. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, self preservation. This is why the Second Amendment exists, to protect yourselves from evil doers. That's the reason. This is a very interesting article because it gets deep into the details about what happened. Bingham County prosecutor Ryan Jolly said in the case review that the woman identified Wednesday as Christine Janine, I believe, acted in self-defense and ruled it was a case of justifiable homicide. I'll say so, and you'll know why here in a minute. Quote, that Christine survived this encounter is truly incredible, Jolly wrote. Her grit, determination, and will to live appeared to be what saved her that night. Again, 85 years old. According to the review posted on Facebook by Bingham County Sheriff's Office, an intruder identified as Derek Condon, and I was happy to say the late Derek Condon, broke into Janine's home around 2 a.m. on March 13th. Janine told prosecutors she was asleep in her Bingham County home when she was awakened by an intruder who was wearing a military jacket and black ski mask and was pointing. I thought OJ died anyway, and was pointing a gun at her and a flashlight at her. Gun and flashlight at her. She said her disabled son was also home. Now think about this. She was 85 years old and she has a disabled son. So let's say he's 40, 45 years old, maybe. So an adult disabled person that she's taking care of. The review says Condon most likely hit Janine in her head while she was in bed because Janine said she'd been hit and because investigators found blood on her pillow and on her bedroom floor. Condon then handcuffed Janine and took her to the living room at gunpoint, according to the review. Then he handcuffed her to a wooden chair and asked her about her valuables when she said she didn't have much. He put his gun to her head, the review said. I want to stop there. Think about this. 85-year-old woman. I want you to try the best you can to imagine being woken up at 2 a.m. by an intruder, no matter what age you are, no matter what sex you are, male or female, and being dragged out of your bed after you were bludgeoned over your head, then dragged out of your bed, handcuffed to a piece of furniture in another room, knowing that your child, adult, but your child is in another room disabled. And then you have a gun pointed at your head. Ladies and gentlemen, please try to imagine the terror that was going through this woman's mind. And she still kept her senses about her. According to the review, Janine told Condon she had two safes downstairs. Listen to this. He left her handcuffed in the living room as he looked through several rooms of her home in search of her valuables, prosecutor said. At some point, the review says, he discovered that Christine's son was also in the home and became angry at Christine for not telling him. Condon started to make numerous threats that he wanted to kill Janine, according to the review. While Condon was searching downstairs, he dragged the wooden chair to which she was handcuffed into her bedroom and grabbed her. Now, she did. She dragged the wooden chair. She's 85 years old. She dragged the chair back in the bedroom while he was gone rummaging through the house, grabbed her. I love this woman. Grabbed her 357 Magnum revolver. By the way, revolver, reliable weapon, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not comfortable with semi-automatics, you don't have to be. Revolvers are so reliable. Maybe less capacity as far as number of rounds, but you know it's going to work every time. She dragged the revolver from under her pillow. The review says, back in the living room, Janine hid the gun between the armrest and a cushion as she waited to see what Condon did next. Christine's memory of exactly what occurred next remains somewhat unclear, according to the review. We're almost done. Janine told prosecutors that at some point, when Condon returned to the living room after having rummaged through her home, he again threatened to kill her. She ultimately made the decision that it was now or never, and drew her concealed .357 Magnum and engaged Condon, striking him with both her shots. The review says, bam, in the
Wow.
silhouette. Condon returned fire. The story just keeps getting amazing. Last few paragraphs here. Condon returned fire, striking Janine multiple times in her abdomen, a leg, an arm, and her chest with a 9mm pistol. Multiple times, so at least twice in the stomach area, in her leg, her arm, and her chest. According to the review, Condon went to the kitchen where he died from the gunshot wounds. Janine, still handcuffed, fell over and remained on the floor for about 10 hours until her son came upstairs in the late morning and gave her a phone to call 911. This is how disabled I imagine this man has severe, I'm assuming from here, cognitive skills, because he had to give her the phone to make the 911 call. She'd been bleeding for 10 hours on the floor with at least 5 gunshot wounds, 1 to the chest, 2 in her belly. East Idaho News reported that Janine was taken to Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center in Idaho Falls. She has been released and is recovering. Subsequent investigation turned up a broken window in the back of the residence and a screwdriver near where Condon broke in, according to the review. On his body, Condon had a lockpick set, his car key, handcuff key, and a bag full of items stolen from the home. Condon's car was also found near their home, according to the review, and a set of footprints leading to the vehicle in the direction of the home was discovered. Based on Idaho's self-defense law, which means no person in the state shall be placed in legal jeopardy of any kind whatsoever for protecting himself. Jolly rule the killing justifiable, and so forth and so on. And a few more paragraphs. But Anthony, I'm going to give you a chance to chime in here. But one thing I want to say, this is one of the most extraordinary examples of self-defense I have ever heard because of all of the particular circumstances, the age, the fact that she was hit in the head, the fact that she knows she has a disabled son in the house. This is going
Mhm.
through her mind, the threats of killing, the fact that she had to drag a chair while this guy was rummaging the house that she was handcuffed to back into the bedroom and then back out. This is like, what's the movie? Oh, Misery, where
Mm.
James Caan has to wait until the crazy person goes out. He's going around trying to figure out, they've got to go back and kind of put himself where he was left. All these things going on. But having said that, this is extraordinary. But what we're not told by the media is how often these types of incidents occur. And I'm talking about self-defense with a firearm. They're not reported on. By the way, a lot of them simply aren't reported. People defend themselves and not report it. It's happened to me when I was a cop off duty. I guess maybe policy wise, I guess I should have, reported. This is 30 years ago. But I had someone lunging at me from about 30 feet away with a Bowie knife. We got in a pissing match. It was a road rage thing where someone cut me off on purpose. There was two young guys. They cut me off on purpose, flipped me off. I honked my horn. They slammed their brakes on in front of me on a little side street, and I was smart enough to make distance. And I
Mhm.
see a guy jumping out of the car, so I exited with my weapon. I said, "No." As he turns, he has this Bowie knife like this long. He's coming at me, and I drew down and I told him, "Today is the day you're going to die."
Wow.
And what did he do? He stopped, he got in his car, and he sped off. Now,
Wow.
I never, call the cops, the local PD to, report an assault. Again, that's my, privilege. I don't have to, file a crime against me if I don't want to. But things like that happen all the time with self-defense, legal self-defense that doesn't go reported. This is one of the underpinnings of our Constitution, the right to defend yourself, the right to own and bear arms. And I want that to be known. This is why people must have the right to own firearms. I think any reasonable person, and I want to get your comments. I want you to send them in. You give me your opinion about this. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think any objective, fair-minded person would believe it'd be pretty likely that this woman was gonna die that night had she not had that gun and not she had the and not had the fortitude to do what she did.